And after his resurrection, he charged his disciples to continue to tell the story and to live it out. So, Paul wrote letters which were circulated among the churches he founded as he moved from place to place. And then the Gospels were written and circulated in those churches. And then more people wrote letters and they were circulated. And then saints and theologians wrote letters and they were circulated. And then the printing press was invented. And theologians wrote pamphlets and books and people read and shared them. Then along came magazines, which featured not only words but illustrations and even photographs, showing ways in which the gospel was lived and spread. And then preachers went on this new thing called the radio. And then as people bought television sets, evangelists began to appear on them to tell the good news of Jesus Christ to people right in their living rooms. The gospel reached unprecedented numbers of people, although it had become a one-way conversation. Now, I think you might know where I'm going with this, right? Millions of people spend a lot of their time on the internet. At home, at work, at school, on trains, in parks. And what people are doing on the internet is interacting, sharing conversations and content on social media. The numbers are always changing, but basically there are more than 1 billion Facebook users, another billion on YouTube, 100 million on Instagram, 500 million on Twitter, 50 million on Pinterest, and there are hundreds of millions of blogs. People are posting information and telling stories and showing pictures and making and being friends and followers. Social media sites are places where people go. Places where these millions of people gather for conversation. They're like great big pubs or coffee shops or markets. They are the public square. Social media is not a luxury. It is firmly embedded in our culture. Virtual community and conversation is real community and conversation. Social media allows us to both share and amplify our message, to listen to and share other messages, and to interact. Social media is a tool for pastoral care and for evangelism. It is powerful, and it has unlimited reach. Remember those billions of people. And so, as a follower of Jesus Christ, who charged us to spread the good news even to the ends of the earth, why wouldn't we want to be in those places too? Now, I'm going to put up a couple of pictures of books that are useful. This particular one was written by my friend Meredith Gould, who I actually met on Twitter or I think in the comments section of the Lent Madness blog, the very first one. And later on, I was the chalice bearer at her wedding. Virtual community is real community. But in Meredith's words, Christ has no online presence but yours. No blog or Facebook page but yours. Yours are the tweets through which love touches the world. Yours are the posts through which the gospel is shared. Yours are the updates through which hope is revealed. This is as true for clergy as it is for lay people. So let's talk about ministry on the web through the use of social media. First, another from Meredith, a definition of social media. Social media are web-based tools for interaction that, in addition to conversation, allow users to share content such as photos, videos, and links to resources. Interaction and content are the two main ingredients. All social media platforms allow for interaction. This is another good book. Social media is not one-way content pushing. Remember the evangelist in the living room who was giving a message to someone. Remember Jesus on the road who interacted with someone. Social media is about interaction. And people expect to be able to interact on social media. So if you're using it just to pop onto a site to make an announcement and then leaving, you're missing out on the power of the platform. And people will not follow you for long. Now, people always ask these sorts of questions, so I want to pause here and remind you of a couple of things. Assumption here is that the use of social media in ministry is a good thing. So please hear me say this. The dangers of ministry online are the same as the dangers of ministry in person, or on the phone, or by the letter, or by letters, or, gosh, I got interrupted there, at the hospital, okay? Remember your boundaries. Just as you should not be stupid on the phone, or in person, or at the hospital, you should not be stupid on the internet. Okay? Please hear me say this. And no, social media is not a replacement for face-to-face interaction. Now, I want to draw a red circle around this. Social media is not a substitute for any of the ministries that you already do. It is an extension of them. It offers exponentially more ways for you to interact with parishioners and with the world at large. It does not, I repeat, replace face-to-face ministry. Not every church, clergy person, or parishioner uses social media in the same way. But it is a good idea to have a social media strategy. We really need to use social media because everyone else is using it is not a strategy. So let's talk a little bit about strategy. Here's another good book. Tweet if you heart Jesus. I'm in this book. I was in all three of those books, is that unpacked? You'll have to come up with your own social media strategy, but let's start here. Think about your audiences, plural. Lots of different people use social media. Lots of opportunity for different audiences. So who do we want to reach? What do we want to happen? And how will we know we've succeeded? Also think about your and your church's personality. People love social media because they get to see something real through your content and interactions. Everybody, your parishioners, newcomers, and visitors love this. Here's our diocesan Facebook page. People love this stuff. So you want to think about how you're going to present yourself, including how you're going to present your fun self. Social media gives you the opportunity to do that. It's also a great way to do what we call stealth ministry or stealth education. Sure, people are posting cat videos on Facebook. I am posting cat videos on Facebook. But people are also playing Lent Madness. More than 3,000 people from all over the world learned about the saints every single day last year during Lent. People are interested in seeing where Flat Jesus is going to turn up next. Flat Jesus also likes Lent Madness. And Flat Jesus goes everywhere with everyone. This is sort of a game. If you haven't seen it, you can get your own Flat Jesus and take him with you and take pictures and post them on Facebook. And this comes through people's Facebook feeds, and people are seeing what people are doing. And it's wonderful. Now here's a picture. I hate it that Bishop Hollers is not here to see it. This is Flat Andy. Flat Andy is Andrew Doyle, who's the Episcopal Bishop of the Diocese of Texas. And he posted this on the diocesan website. You can print it out, color it, and take it with you and take pictures of all the places that you go on vacation. So he asked people to do that from this diocese. It turned out that Flat Andy came to Bruton Parish. In fact, if you can read the comments, you will see there that Bishop Doyle himself says, I've always wanted to preach in that pulpit. So this is self-ministry. This is something that you can do on the internet that you can't really do in person. Since there are many social media platforms, I want you to think about the content and vary the media you use. Because if you want to reach different age groups and appeal to different learning styles, you're going to have a lot of choices. You can read this for yourself. It's silly, but it's true. Generationally speaking, who uses what social media platform? Of course, you can find people of every age using every site, but I'm going to give you a few generalizations, which are mostly based on how people learned how to learn in the first place. The silent or GI generation likes direct communication through traditional media. They also read blogs for information, and some use Facebook to keep up with family. Boomers love in-person communication, and they read extensively online and in print. They use blogs, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube. Few boomers are on Twitter, although I am. Generation Xers pretty much like everything, and you'll find them on every social media platform. Millennials, who are digital natives and highly collaborative, prefer social media and texting to traditional media. Millennials don't read blogs. They have limited Facebook presence, but you'll find lots of them on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. So when people say, oh, you need to get a Facebook page for your acolytes, maybe. Our acolytes in my church are not particularly on Facebook, and they don't use that sort of page. So think about your generations for which platform you want to use. You don't have to use all of them, but you want to pick the right one for the content and for the audience that you want to reach. Now, here are some ways to think about some of the most popular social media tools and how and why to use them. This is a blog. This is my blog, actually. And blogs are popular with the silents, with boomers, with Generation X. These people grew up reading print and liked content delivered to their digital devices where they can read at their leisure. Blogs are good for more in-depth content, not immediate news or announcements. If you keep a blog, provide for comments and provide share buttons. Provide attractive and interesting content. You can attract younger folks at the younger end of the spectrum by embedding video and podcasts. Blogs have a great deal of flexibility, and there's a lot of variety that you can put on them. I use mine for photography and art. Facebook. This is a slide of our youth at Bruton Parish putting together manna bags. A friend of mine at the National Church picked this up, posted it on Facebook, and I don't know if you can see that, but basically there were, no, I can't even see it. There were 468 shares, 1,053 likes, and 125 comments, and they all came up in the first few hours after we posted this picture. This is evangelism on social media. Facebook is your number one choice. If you use nothing else, use this. It's instant, efficient, flexible, cost-effective way to broadcast news, publicize events and functions. Now here's another thing I want to draw a red circle around. Remember Martin Buber's I Vow that Cameron was talking about earlier. Use that same idea with all of your social media ministry. These are people that we are interacting with, and create Christian community and model Christian community. Use Facebook to post photos, videos, ask questions, exchange ideas, share information, share the good news, including news of what other churches are doing or what's happening in the community around you. It doesn't just have to be, oh, our parish, our parish, our parish. It's also the parish down the street, and also our diocese, and also the national church, and this other diocese. The good news is everywhere. We're looking for it, and we're sharing it. You can also create private groups for closed conversations, and you can create events to collect RSVPs. And please vary the content. If you can, put visuals with people in them. Here we have a beautiful picture of our church, which we have on our website. But on social media, we want to make sure that we've got people in our church. People, because what message does it convey? A picture of a beautiful church with nobody in it. So mix it up with video, text, photos, information. People really like to see themselves on your page. People actually like to see people doing things. Here we are back to the diocesan Facebook page. Also post regularly, because it's all about the news feed. People don't visit your Facebook page all that much. They see things come through in your news feed, but they may not be going to your page. So you want to post pretty regularly. And that brings up the question of, well, gosh, who's got time to do that? Isn't that a lot of work? Use multiple admins. Assign definite tasks. This one for announcements, another one for videos or photos, another one for out and about, whatever it is. But have different people who are admins on your Facebook page, and that way you don't have to do all the work. You share it. Facebook is also great for pastoral cares for families, particularly Generation X and some boomers, because they put their life out on Facebook. This is how you find out that their pet died, that they're on vacation, that grandma is in the hospital, Junior got into the college of his choice. Facebook helps you keep up with what's happening with many of your people who may not call you with their news. Even when people have a baby in the younger generation, they won't call the church to say that they've had a baby. They put it all on Facebook and they think everybody knows. So if you're on Facebook, you do know. All right, enough about Facebook. Pinterest. Pinterest is a visual bulletin board on which you post images. It's used by all generations and not just women. It attracts visual learners. The focus is on images. Here's something you might do with a Pinterest page: to create a group board on liturgical arts, or images for the season, and invite people to post and comment on which ones of these they like, to add their own. This is about nativities. Ask people to post pictures of their favorite nativities and why they think so. This is a community-building, collaborative sort of way that you can use Pinterest. Instagram. This is the Bruton Parish Instagram page. Instagram is a smartphone picture posting application. This is where you'll find a whole lot of millennials. This is the fastest growing of platforms right now. So what happens when somebody sees photographs like these in their Instagram feed? Instagram also has a video component. Whoops, this is where we're going to do the video component. Video component is 14 seconds. Here's something that you can do with that. You can make an announcement about what you're going to do in your church, or you can do this.
I'd like to invite you to a conversation and discussion called Preachers on Preaching at 9:30 on Sunday mornings.
We'll be working with the text that week and hope you'll join us.
So that's a great way to use Instagram to invite people to come to your new thing. All right, Twitter. Twitter is a real-time tool for sharing content and participating in conversations. It takes a little dedication to appreciate its value. Like Facebook, it's a place that people go to where they get information, interact with others, and share content. Twitter is great for live tweeting events, like I think here's live tweeting of a bishop election, the Bishop of Atlanta when he was elected last year. People go and watch. You can't be there in person. Well, the Twitter feed, somebody there is posting about what's happening as it's happening. It's real-time stuff. It's right up to the minute. So it's a great place to go for news, disaster reporting. If you're on Twitter and you keep up with the local municipal, your county or whoever it is, that's the way that you'll find really up to date information. I use it to participate in tweet chats on church social media. We have one of those every Tuesday night from 9 till 10 o'clock. There's a group of people all over the country who get together and talk about how they're using social media to further the gospel. I also use it for prayer. This is the Virtual Abbey. The Virtual Abbey has prayers day and night, and you're just watching your feed, and then all of a sudden a prayer comes up. It's a really cool thing. I find it poignant to see prayer tweets along with sort of what's happening in the news. YouTube. YouTube is really easy to use. Anybody can record a YouTube video, even on a phone. The challenge is to produce useful and engaging video that is professional, that looks professional. Please do not put crummy YouTube videos up. But good videos by others are also very shareable on your site. You can embed them, as I said, on blogs, on your Facebook page. You can link to them on your website, all those sorts of things. You use the video, obviously, to post music, but also nice movies about the season, a nice movie about what Lent is, or your pageant, edited, please. You put your sermons on there for people who are at home and aren't able to be there with you while they can watch it on YouTube. Whatever you do on video, please make it high quality and invest in professional help with making those videos. And again, this is collaborative. There's somebody out there in your community. Doesn't have to be a vestry member or a clergy person who knows how to do this. So find those people and let them help you. Okay, so that's a few of the big social media platforms. Before you jump into the deep end, learn how to use these platforms yourself, personally, before launching a church account. Follow others and see what they're doing. Here's one of my new followers. Following and seeing what other people are doing is absolutely the best way to learn about how to use social media. See what other people are doing. Mess around with each platform to see what it can do, and also whether or not you like it. If you don't like a platform, don't use it. There's nothing worse than people who say, "Oh, I hate Facebook." Oh yes, I'm the Facebook administrator for my church. Find somebody else to do it. Somebody else who is is very at home and very comfortable with these sorts of things. Find those people to do it. So don't use platforms that you don't like. Collaborate with others. It doesn't have to be a time suck unless you're using it to play Farmville. I mean, don't you take time to drive to the hospital, to visit people, to make phone calls? Don't you chat with parishioners when you see them in the mall or at the market or at the hospital? Don't you chat with your colleagues over the proverbial water cooler? Social media is social, and that's good, and it does take time. But you can manage your time, social media time, the way you manage any of your time. There's nothing magical about this. You can learn how to figure that out. For some people, they keep the news feeds open all the time just to see what's going by. For other people, they say, they have specific times that they're planning on checking, 3 times a day or whatever it is. Create your own rhythm. But remember, you're doing ministry. You're doing this for ministry. You're doing this for the pastoral care of your community. You're doing this to communicate the gospel. You want to take time to respond to the questions and the comments that people leave on your sites, as well as to interact with others on their sites. That's the social part of social media. Remember that through social media, and this is the why part that Mr. Simek was talking about in our video, you are keeping your eyes open for how God is working in the world so that you can share that. You're using social media to spread the good news. And isn't that worth spending some time on? Okay, thank you for listening.
Questions? You all know all
Hey,
this.
they're all asleep.
Excellent. Great. Thank you.
Comment. Caroline?
Yep.
Quick comment. One thing about the electronic media. Remember, whatever you put up there is there forever. If you don't want something that isn't quality to be up there, arbitrary, I hope not.
Unless you're Paula Dean, then probably wrong. You're absolutely right. When something goes up, there's sort of no way to get it. But also, if you make a mistake or you put something up that you don't want to be up there, you can take it down. It may be that some investigative reporter someday will be able to ferret that out. But 99% of you are not going to be in that situation. So I don't want you to be afraid to take the risk of putting yourself out there. You can't, and that reminds me of a question that was asked last time about comments and about when people are commenting and they're saying things that are not reflective of Christian community, are not the I thou sort of operating, but people who want to pick fights. I talked about mud wrestling with a pig. I think that getting into fights on the internet is like mud wrestling with a pig. The pig likes it, and you get dirty. So don't fight on the internet. Take something down. It's your page. If somebody gets out of hand on your site or on one of your posts or whatever, take it down. It's your page. You have the authority to do that. And then call that person. Go what we call back channel. Not on Facebook, but either by a private message or email, or call them up and say, hey, I took this down because that wasn't really modeling the kind of community we want. Or, whatever, and, hey, is there something we need to talk about?
Great, thank you. Here you go.
Did you get permission to post pictures of children because on Facebook? Because those could get tagged and some families might not want that.
We never tag. The diocese has a social media policy, so you can go to the diocesan website. Thank you for asking that question. You go to the diocesan website to see a copy of our social media policy. And at our church, we have all the parents sign a release that says, it's a standard media release that says, because we record our sermons, and so our acolytes are going to show up sometimes on videos and things like that. Ask the parents to sign a release. Do not tag people, do not put their names on there. I constantly put pictures of our kids up. The parents are the ones who are going on and liking them. But yes, be sure that you're following those diocesan guidelines.
The tagging is a big piece. You want to keep names.
Right. And if somebody's tagged it, you can go and untag it. You're the administrator of your page, and so you can undo things that other people might do.
Do you do anything to educate your parishioners to make them feel at ease with the social media? Because there is a lot of fear. My aunt recently, I called her in New Jersey, and she couldn't talk. She was 91 because she was on her way to church for her Twitter class.
There are some churches that do that have their sort of local social media experts to do a social media day workshop or something like that on a Saturday to help people. Or, of course, find people in the parish who know how to use things and yeah, great question. Thank you.
Juanita Alexander, St. Cyprian's. I take a lot of pictures at my church, and at first I would put them on the bulletin board, and then I got to know some people that particularly want their pictures up there. But then I would download a lot on the disc, and our media person would put them on our web page. But I became aware that a couple of people said that they didn't mind bulletin board pictures, but they don't want to be on the internet. So I think it's important, and I'm just tripping pictures, having a good time taking pictures, and then I download all these pictures on a disc and they end up on the internet. That some people, and you need to respect that, don't want to be on the internet, or they may want to be on the traditional bulletin board, and some people don't want to have the pictures taken, period. So we need to be maybe respectful of that. And sometimes I do, my getting carried away that, make sure that you know who wants and who doesn't want to be on the internet.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you.
Anyone else? Mark?
Oh, here's an experienced social media user.
Well, this is sort of a setup question. Talk a little bit about on Facebook about closed and open groups.
closed and open groups.
And difference in how you use those. And by the way, I'll affirm, we have an EYC Facebook page, but I found out that only 30% of my kids are on Facebook, so we sort of abandoned that.
Right. Yes, you can have a closed group or an open group or a fan page. Or there are different types of things, and I don't want to take the time to tell you how to do all those things, so you can find those out. But yes, there are ways to have closed groups in which you can have private conversation just among the people who are in the group, and they have to be approved by an administrator to be in the group, so it's not public, and it's not, you can't find it if you're searching, if somebody's searching for it or whatever. Then open groups are where you're going to have, we've got a diocesan formation page that Carolyn administers, which is an open page, so people are like the page and they're members of it, but even if they're not, people can still search and see what are the conversations that are going on about formation in the Diocese of Southern Virginia.
But they can't post
But
without
they
my
can't
permission.
post.
Yeah.
They can see the conversation, but they can't post. A closed group, nobody can even see it unless they are part of that group. And then just your fan page is, of course, if you particularly want to make sure that you have that so that people can search you out, because these days the internet is the yellow pages and the white pages, and if people are looking for something, they're going to figure out. I think as Mark said earlier in another comment about figuring out sort of the personality of the church. What is this church like? What am I going to find when I go there? What are the people like? And this presence on the internet allows people to do that. And the other thing is that connection between virtual and real community. Sometimes people are kind of shy and they go, but they've seen the Facebook page and they see that, Julie has a cute little dog that she brought to the church blessing, and it's the same kind of dog that I used to have when I was a little kid, and I go and meet Julie at the coffee hour or whatever, and I've got something to talk to her about, so it sort of helps facilitate that. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.